Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to more Duddy's Gaming Adventures. On the channel, we're going to be starting a new series here coming up called AM Retro. So what does that mean? So each morning, weekday morning, we're going to give you a short playthrough of a retro game. Videos intended to be about like 10 minutes or so in length. Might be slightly longer for like an RPG or something where it takes a minute to get started with the game, but just kind of taste a slice of a retro game as you're, getting ready in the morning, getting your coffee, and got a few minutes to watch playthrough of a retro game, right? So that's kind of the intent there. So what do we consider retro? Now, there's probably lots of definitions out there, and what I consider to be retro would be anything that's like older than 15 years or older when the game came out. I've heard another podcaster talking about the idea of somebody who's like 20 years old right now. They might have played the Xbox 360 or PS3 when they were like 5 or 6 years old, and that's those came out. We're still now thinking about like 15 years ago. It was April 2006. We're still a few months away from the generation beginning with the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 and the Wii U when they came out. So for the purposes of this series, I'm thinking about retro games as anything older than that, prior to that generation of video games. And don't worry, it's kind of crazy to believe that it's been 15 years almost, and the idea of that PS3 games and Xbox 360 and Wii games can be considered retro now, but we're getting pretty close to that. But again, for the purpose of this series, we're going to be talking about older games than that, and there's plenty to play. Don't worry, we're talking NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, maybe even getting into some N64, GameCube, that type of thing. Saying a PlayStation 1. There's more than enough games to play for the purpose of this series. So let's talk about, like I mentioned, the videos are going to be like 10 minutes in length. Older games, like you're seeing in the background here, playthrough of Final Fantasy, just intended to kind of give you a taste of, some older games. Some of which I played before, some of which I've never played before and are experiencing for the first time, or don't remember playing them, or whatever. Just kind of, get the appetite going and seeing some of these games, maybe like one and done. Okay, I'm good. I'm not gonna play that one again. Some of them may be revisited in another version of AM Retro for additional 10 minutes or so playthrough. There may be some games that turned into series. I can also think of a couple right off the top of my head that I intend to play as a series, so they may or may not. They may get their start AM Retro and then turn into a series. They may not. And I'm kind of going for that 10 minutes because not everybody has a ton of time in the morning. Just quick playthrough, and like I said, for certain games they may be a little bit longer than that if it takes a while to get into the gameplay, but just enough to do just give you a taste of what the game is all about. A level here or there, of the game, those kind of things. So what games are we going to see on this series? I do have a couple ideas starting out. Like I said, probably old school Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis games. My starting plan for April is going to be from the Nintendo Power 30 years ago, from 1991, taking a look at the top 30. Top 30 game rankings were always a big feature of the Nintendo Powers back in the day, and I'm going to kind of look at that. And I went through the April 1991 issue and went through the rankings and pulled out a list of games from there. So that's kind of where will be a starting point. I also have access to the Sega Genesis Mini, and I did have a Sega Genesis in my teenage years, and mostly played like sports games and that kind of thing on my Genesis, so some of the games on the Mini I've never gotten to experience, so that'll be cool too. But definitely, you guys have recommendations for games you'd like to see as part of this series. Definitely let me know. The series will premiere on Monday, April 5th with our first game, which will be Super Mario Bros. 3. That'll be the first game ranked number 1 in many fans' hearts, as well as the Nintendo Power from April 1991, 30 years ago. You know, big game. So we'll take a look at that. Like I said, it'll probably be about 10 minutes maybe. I'll try to get through level 1, but if the time goes long, you know, we'll cut that short, obviously. Super Mario Bros. 3 is a game I could see turning into a full playthrough series, let's play series, so be looking forward to that, and we'll have several other games. I think Mega Man 3 is another one that we'll do a quick AM Retro playthrough of. So I'm excited about this chance to, you know, take a dip back into some older games. You know, a chance to re-experience some older games and kind of get little snippets. Played for a few minutes. Okay, I'm good. Play something else. So, you know, games nowadays are much longer. I'm currently in depth in Bravely Default 2. Put a lot of hours into that game. It's a wonderful game. It's great. But sometimes when you do that, you kind of do a deep dive on one game and you don't get a chance to play some others. So, and there's lots of great games nowadays that this is a good chance for me and for you guys to experience some of the older retro stuff, because I enjoy retro games and I have access to a lot of them, and I'm looking forward to this series. Hope you guys are too. Again, leave a comment down below. There's a particular retro game that you're interested in seeing, would like to see as part of this channel, and we'll get the series rolling with Super Mario Bros. 3 on Monday, April 5th. Thanks so much for watching and for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned.